All right, guys, little business update. This video is 100% talking. I'm not doing any work today. I made a goal to make one of these videos once a week. It's 45 degrees out and raining. Haven't done any snow removal or landscaping. There's just nothing to do. So if you don't like videos that people are talking in, might as well stop watching now. I'll warn you because, like I said, there's absolutely no work in this one. But I do want to give a little bit of business update and then kind of take you on my day today. Two things. I sold the stump grinder. Sold it to a guy up in Detroit. He came last week, picked it up. Kind of a bittersweet moment. Like I said in one of the earlier videos, I loved using it. I just never got the opportunity to use it, so all it did was sit, so that had to go. So sold that. I'm going to end up scrapping the John Deere, and I also sold my old right stander. Threw it up online. Guy ended up buying it, coming picking up, so that's gone. So this year I'm going to be running my new right stander here, the Walker, and then I'll keep the Exmark here as a backup. So all I need is two mowers. So to have the third one as a backup will be perfect. So, got some things going on here with the shop that I'll explain to you guys a little bit later in the video. Might have some changes coming in here. I'm not too sure, but right now it's pretty open. Gonna start working on equipment here pretty soon. I'm gonna redo the landscaping trailer, kind of tear that down, maybe repaint it, redo that. Get that ready for the season, and then start working on the other equipment and get that going. So, like I said, just a video of me talking. If you're not interested in hearing what I have to say, catch me on the next one. So, I'll talk to you guys later. All right, guys, it is Monday, February 19th, about 9:15. Got a busy day today. That time of the year where the snow pretty much melts off. People are starting to get excited and prepare for the landscaping season, and we got a day full of stops and sales calls and bids to give out today. So just left my first bid. There's a guy looking to get mulch and a few new plants put in. Heading right now to a commercial property to give them a bid on the yearly maintenance. Then I got another residential property to stop at for yearly maintenance, and then I got a kind of a neat project to look at, and I'll show you guys more of that one later when I get there. But busy day, probably be out all morning, stopping at properties, meeting people, shaking some hands, and throwing out some numbers. So exciting time of the year. Business is starting to get kind of picked up, and people are getting excited. So we'll see how today goes, but we'll check back in a little bit. All right, so we went and visited the commercial property and went and visited the residential property, and now I'm taking a stroll through the one neat project that I got an opportunity to quote for this year. I'm gonna spin it around here and show you guys what I'm quoting. So a couple years ago, this was all cleared out by the electric company. They've kind of been spraying it to kind of maintain it, but a lot of it has grown, so I got asked to come in and quote to brush hog all of this. Pretty neat little project, or it could be. Terrain is pretty rough, so we got to bring in 2 different pieces of equipment to get most of this, maybe even 3. But it's kind of a neat project. This is about 10 acres worth of brush clearing. Would be the biggest brush clearing job that I've quoted or done, so I'm pretty interested to see if I get this one. It would be a nice little project to add to the resume. I'm gonna take a stroll through here. See, like, a lot of these hills are near impossible to get any type of machinery up, so I don't know if we weed whip it. I don't know. The standard skid steer and brush hog won't make it up these. It's hard for the truck to even make it up this. I got it in 4-wheel drive right now. But yeah, neat little project. So we'll see if we end up getting this. And this right here is the community's garden center. We will not be brush hogging this. I think the residents would be pretty upset about that. So we're going to avoid the community garden center. And then it kind of breaks here by the road and then continues over there. That's the majority of it. Luckily, that's the easy part. That's all pretty flat, pretty thin brush. That's the easy part. So I think that's their main priority. And then this stuff back here is the, you know, little lower priority. So I'm going to quote this in two things. One to do that section and then one to do the section we just came from. So we'll see if we end up getting it. All right, guys. So just got done doing some running around. Stopped here at home, had lunch with the missus, and now I'm heading back out. Actually going to look at two possible places for a shop. Kind of at a point in my business where it's very convenient for me to have my equipment in my office at my house, run out of the garage. But I'm reaching a point, I've already reached that point, where I can't really grow anymore. You know, I can't buy any more equipment. I keep the garage nice, you know, I keep my area nice, but the truth is I got 2 trucks, trailers, snow plows, all this stuff outside my house, and it kind of looks hillbilly-ish, you know. So if I were to add any more equipment, you know, skid steers, trailers, anything like that, it just becomes more and more of an eyesore. So I've reached that point where I got to start considering moving somewhere. I'm debating. I don't want to rent, and my thought on that is I don't want to give someone else money and then at the end of the day not have that money either in an equity of a building or anything like that. The pros to that is you don't have a building to take care of, so any repairs, you know, is on the landlord, you know, all that. But you're also just giving the landlord money, and at the end of the day, when you want to move out or don't want to do this anymore, you've wasted and spent all this money. It's hard to justify spending X amount of dollars on a shop. You know, if you were to buy a piece of equipment, you could say, hey, if I spend $200 on this equipment a month, I know I can at least do this much business with it and make this much money with it. With a shop, you can't really do that. You know, it does allow me to grow. It does allow me to make more money. It does allow me to have employees not come to the house. I don't really want people I don't know coming to my house. So it does allow for all that, but you can't really put a number on that. You know, so that's tough for me to you know, run the numbers on that because there are no numbers to run. So this first building I'm looking at is actually kind of a neat story. My dad had a business in this building. It's actually kind of how I started my landscaping career. The tenant next door to my dad were 2 guys that owned a landscaping business. I popped in there one day. I was about 19, 20 years old. I said, hey, I'm looking to make some extra cash. Can I work with you guys a couple days a week? The one guy hired me, and that was kind of the end of it. That's how I kind of started my landscaping career. So it's kind of neat coming full circle to look at a place inside of this building where I kind of started. That one is for rent. I think it's about 1,000 or 1,200 square feet offices, or a warehouse with a little bit of office. The second place would be to buy. I really don't know the story behind this one, so I'm kind of excited to see what that is. I don't know the square footage or anything like that. So, but I'm here to take a look at these. We'll see how they go, and I'll check back in once we're done. Just left the second building. So the first building, which was the rental, it's about 1,000 square feet, bathroom inside, heated, electrical, all that. That would be the one I'd rent. It'd be for $400. Price is not bad at all. Price is actually really good. Includes utilities. I'd be sharing it with a guy. It's actually the landlord's son. I've known him for a long time. He owns like a little excavation business, so he'd have like an excavator in there and, you know, some tools, but he said most of it would be mine indoors to do whatever I want. So I'm not thrilled about sharing it with someone, but if I were to share it with someone, I guess he'd be an okay guy to share it with. But again, you're renting $400 a month. It's like $4,800 a year. You're just kind of given the landlord. So that's the biggest con with that one. The second building was honestly like paradise. It's probably the perfect setup for me. It's zoned residential and commercial, so it's actually got a 3-bedroom house on the property with a double car garage. Behind that, it's got a little shed that maybe you can fit maybe a car in it, I don't know. And then behind that, it's got 2 800 square foot bays separate. It's got an 800 square foot office building upstairs, a 1,200 square foot office building upstairs, a 800 square foot office area downstairs, and a 1,200 square foot office area downstairs. So I mean, it's like 6 different renting potentials. I could probably take 1 bay and maybe an office area and rent everything else out. The house, the 2 upstairs places, 1 of the bays. That really excites me because those people will pay for my mortgage. The biggest con there, number 1, is I'm responsible for any repairs, so roof leaks, roof repairs, heaters, anything like that. Second con is he's asking about $400,000, which that's not the hard part. The hard part is the down payment. They're probably going to want to see about 10%, so to come up with 40 grand. I don't know exactly how I would do that. So, but it's good to look at these buildings, get an idea of what I can afford, what I should be working towards, what kind of opportunities I should keep my eyes out for. So I don't know if I'm ready to make a decision quite yet. I don't think either place is going anywhere anytime soon, but we'll see what happens. So about 2:45, gonna head home, do some work in the office, and then call it a day.